flower, and then
You want me to say what we're doing?
pistol pictures, not yet. Let it refresh. It says live now. There we go. And okay. And now I'm making sure it's the right camera. I'm gonna cover that one. We got one viewer. Okay, and then let me make sure. So what, okay. I believe we have sound. We are live. Yes.
So we're doing this little addendum to the previous live video, so we can include some of the screenshots of the Hawken project and the pistol project, and some photos of the Piraube fowling piece.
Yeah, the sound is good because I'm now actually using the camera that I bought, and I couldn't figure that out earlier.
So
I think
expect the future live streams to be a little more polished.
I'm trying. I'm learning.
It's going fine.
So I can pull up we'll start with the pistol. And so
yeah, there's a pistol. So we talked about that
it's
earlier.
not up yet.
Oh.
So here, watch this. I do this, and now I actually have to hit that button right there.
Okay.
And now it's up.
Okay, so we talked about the pistol project, and that's something that's going to be happening. This is based off, in large part based off Jay Sheets' original John Sheets, Winchester, Virginia, late 18th century pistol. It has faceted grips and characteristics of British guns at that time period. It has an acorn finial trigger guard, and just shares some of the characteristics of British guns. Side plate is a little different than the original, so I've made some changes there, but we'll see how it ends up when it's all said and done. But I like it. It's neat stock geometry and architecture. I think it's going to be a real nice future kit.
And can you guys see the pistol? Just want to make sure. I think you can, but okay, well, you can keep talking.
Yeah, so
okay.
It's just going to show us from some different angles and
just
different
scroll
views.
through. Oh yay! He says yes. Thank you. Okay, love the look of it so far. Very sleek compared to the chunky Italian guns. Looks great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good. You know, I was excited to share this, and then I was thinking about it ever since the live ended, how frustrated I was that I didn't get it to work. So, yeah, and you were saying that inlays.
Yeah, the inlays may be an option. I'm not sure. We'll see how it all plays out.
Mm-hmm. And probably steel.
Yeah, it's right now shown with iron mounts. One thing I see about the image is on the screen, it's not really showing it in perspective, so the perspective proportions are off a little bit. At least I don't think it was. You can set this CAD software to show it perspective or not. There's a rendered view of it. There's more perspective view there.
The render, I'll just hit play to see if it'll get to a nicer.
It does look nice. And that's actually just a CAD design that I've modeled. No actual physical models have been made, so it's all just computer drawn. But those CAD models are really important. They guide our machines, so we use those CAD models to tell our machines what to make.
Okay. So the other side, if I can get the other side shows up as shadowed.
A little darker. Still working with the rendered views of this software.
So yeah, we'll just do that version of it. Okay, and then we can go forward to the Hawken. And we'll get to
There we go.
the under rib. Isn't there yet?
Get that on there.
Okay.
So this pretty much shows the full version of the Hawken rifle. And this is again all been modeled in CAD software, but it's pretty representative of what you should expect. And we're excited. The stock is all programmed. Probably next week I'll start running the stock to work out any of the programming details. It'll take quite a number of iterations until it's all sorted out, but it's looking pretty good, I think. I'm real pleased with it.
So is there any parts on that you want to?
So the patch box will be optional. It'll have a toe plate on it. Probably have an optional cheek inlay at some stage, maybe not right off the bat, but it probably will be offered as an option. Double keyed as you'd expect. Inlays around the keys. Just real nice quality, nicely designed parts. Probably more akin to the quality level of an English sporting rifle rather than a Hawken rifle, but still has the design characteristics of Hawken rifles.
And someone asked, what length is the barrel?
Probably between 31 and 32 inches. This particular model here is 31 inches. So it might be a little bit shorter than some are accustomed to, but it'll keep the weight down, which is very important for a Hawken rifle. If you get barrels much longer, weight becomes an issue. And there were some original shorter barreled Hawken rifles, so it certainly falls within the realm of being historically correct.
Okay. And
Kind of a rendered view. You can go back there. That rendered
back a
view.
little bit.
Yeah, that rendered view is nice. Let it play. It'll show it from a different angle.
And so, yeah, we're working on programming. They're all drawn out, but they need to be
Yeah, so the first step is to design them, and then you have to basically program the machines to make these parts.
Yeah, we probably have some echo in here. Sorry about that. I'll work on that with getting more sound. It's kind of a hard office, so sound isn't great. Well, that's a pretty, even though it's shadowed,
Yeah.
it's pretty right there. And which are the cast things going to be?
So the butt plate will be a casting, and the trigger guard itself will be a casting. The rest of the parts will be all machined.
Someone said, what would need to be changed to make it a proper Hawken? Hate to beat you up on it, but if I'm buying something called Hawken, I'm going to want an actual Hawken. Still looks great though.
So I've made some changes to what you'd expect from the Hawken, which is a little wider butt plate, which is, in my estimation, a vast improvement, whether you like it or not. Sorry. A lot of the butt plates were very, very thin, large barrel guns, and they were like basically two different guns slapped together. The butt stock being very thin, the forestock and barrel being very large, and it's just not balanced in my view. So the butt plate is slightly wider, which is a big improvement, and that's one of the biggest things I would say. Maybe slight differences in stock architecture. Sometimes the Hawkens will have the stock kind of pinch down towards the butt plate and look pregnant, and kind of then taper fast towards the butt plate, which in my view is kind of a cheap and dirty way of stocking a gun, and I don't really care for it. But most everything falls within the realm. And to be perfectly frank, you know, if this gun showed up as an original, people would be oogling over it and think it was one of the greatest Hawkens ever, is what they would be doing. So, and Hawken rifles varied a tremendous amount.
Yeah.
Trust me.
And someone said flintlock, asked if it's flintlock
No,
also.
just be percussion because of the time frame.
Okay.
So I want to make something that's believable within that time frame and location where it had been made.
Okay. How about I close this down and then I pull up the Piraube
That sounds
ones.
good.
So I'll take this away, and if you have any other questions while I'm pulling this up, I will stop this, and then I will pull.
Nice view there that shows the nice standing breech, nicely
Want me
shaped.
to show that?
No, it's okay.
Okay. And then this.
Yeah, if you want, you can share that. That's a nice view.
I'll show that. Let's.
Nice view of the standing breech and back end of the barrel. Everything's very nicely shaped out, nice forms.
Someone says original TC Hawken doesn't really reflect the truest Hawken. Other rifle makers of the day made variations. Absolutely gorgeous.
So you like a Thompson Center Hawken, or really any of the Hawkens that have been made. You know, they're in a totally different class. I mean, I don't mean to disparage anybody or anything, but they're not in the same league.
And then we have question of why not call it a Rocky Mountain rifle rather than going with Hawken?
So
that would give you lots more freedom.
You can. We could call it. So we've honored the Hawken name far more than any other previous manufacturers. Hawken people are generally pretty fussy and have lots of opinions, but then they don't necessarily recognize the true nature of Hawken rifles. So why should I not call it that? Well, it's a very recognizable name, and if we want to promote black powder as well as we can, that's a name that comes to mind. When people think of guns, they think of, even somebody that isn't knowledgeable at all thinks of the name Hawken. And honestly, it's a good way to promote it. And it does capture the vast majorities of the details of a Hawken rifle. And that's the same thing I've done with any of the other creations I've made. They're in the flavor. They're not direct copies down to every little screw. So I don't apologize at all for that. And that's just how it is.
Can monthly payments be made? So I'll answer that, which is that usually there's a wait time for whenever you order. Payment's not due when you place your order. So there's time to save up for when it's ready. So it could be a few months or something, but we typically don't necessarily do payments just because there is a wait time and usually a wait list.
We have done it on occasion in the past. So if there's something that'll help you out, we might be able to help you out.
Yeah, like if they want to send in payments, they can, but we don't have like a specific program for that. Very nice. Any idea on price point?
The Hawken will probably be around the Fowler price, I expect.
What calibers for the pistol?
45, 50, and 54.
That's going to be the best Hawken out there. Mm-hmm. We agree.
Well, thank you.
Pistol and rifle both looking great. Thanks. Understandable. Didn't want to beat you up over that. I'm still going to buy one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, forgot to pedantic over it. No, it's
no, and what it is that if I get a little bit wound up a little bit, if we've had these questions numerous times, and a lot of Hawken people are very, very passionate, which is good, but it can also be challenging.
Because Jim's very passionate about guns as well, so it's part of what makes it fun is all the opinions.
Yeah.
For someone who has never built a kit before and with limited space and tools, how hard will this kit be to build?
Not too hard. We have lots of first-time builders that never built a gun before and have had great success. So you can do it.
And then someone likes your interpretations of both firearms.
Thanks.
So now we're going to share the detailed pictures of the Piraube.
Yeah, so we mentioned in the previous live stream that we'd acquired a new gun, a fowling piece that was made by Bertrand Piraube, who was a 17th century gun builder in Paris. He was gun maker to Louis XIV. He lived in the Louvre and had his workshop in the Louvre, and amongst other artisans as well. And artists, but it's a fantastic gun from a period that I think is the best and one of the best makers from that period. So it's top of the line. These are some detailed shots showing a lot of the work.
The engraving is
it's quite amazing. The gun's seen some wear and use and so forth, but it's really quite fabulous if you ask me. Really, really nice. So it's a period that I enjoy a lot, and it's just something that we wanted to share.
And a lot of these are just the close-ups because I was just amazed at how much detail he had in there. So for the further on shots that
behind us, and we'll be putting more pictures out as well. These are just ones we had on the computer that we can easily share right now. Mm-hmm. There's a fowling piece. There's actually a view where it's a little crisper, and it's because that breech plug probably was case hardened, so there's much less wear on it. as compared to surrounding areas. So I think that breech plug was case
And
hardened.
it's from 1689.
So it is dated 1689.
It's nuts. Yeah, you could see how much more detailed those are. And this is a kind of interesting thing.
Yeah, so the caulk is a replacement by somebody that didn't do a very good job. He tried to work in that particular style, but when you look a little closer, it's pretty much a mess. So it's something that probably at some stage I'd like to replace, but doing it to the quality of the other chiseling will not be easy.
Yeah. That's one we already saw.
Yeah.
Oh, this is neat.
In that area, it's not worn as much, and you can see. So that's basically, when I refer to chiseling, it's relief. So all this stuff was not cast or anything like that. It was chiseled, so it was carved in relief. So the background, just like you would carve wood, the background was removed, and the steel was then shaped and sculpted, and this is used in combination with engraving as well. You saw some of the other engraved details. So really quite fabulous work.
Someone noticed that you changed your shirt.
Yeah.
It's still a killer though.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a neat one.
Yeah. And it's been, at one point, that piece there was rusted pretty heavily because there's pitting and it's not near as crisp. So somebody's basically cleaned this gun thoroughly. So it was dark at one point, I'm sure, with rust. And it was used quite heavily, I think, for this type of a gun. And the stock was probably much darker. It's been refinished, but that's the European English style of high-end guns. They're basically skinned and stripped down, and it's kind of gross in my view. But
do you think there was originally a picture engraved?
There could have been. It's hard to know. There is a lot of remnants from corrosion, as you can see. Mm-hmm. Pitting, beautiful butt plate. Yeah. So
that's just, oh wow, something for inspiration, just general inspiration. Not anything that Jim's going to make right now.
No.
In the far future, what would you like to make as a pie in the sky goal? Sounds like you are making big advances in CNC.
Yeah, someday it'd be nice to make some kind of a 17th century gun, a fowling piece of some kind. It might not be to this level, the level of decoration as this Piraube, but something that would represent a really nice 17th century fowling piece. And because I think for me that's the ultimate, the height of gun making that really hasn't been exceeded since, and it's what I really get excited about.
Yeah. Just details everywhere. These holes are interesting.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why they're there. So there's several holes on the trigger guard that wouldn't have been there initially, and they're countersunk or counterbored on the back side, which is kind of weird. So I don't know why they're there, but they're not anything that you'd expect on an original. Yeah. So it's kind of a mystery.
All right. Well.
And we'll get more longer shots of the full gun at some stage, this Piraube gun. And if you're interested in Piraube, just look up Piraube, Piraube, Flintlock, and you'll come up with some articles that talk about his life and how he was working for Louis XIV and lived in the Louvre, so forth. So yeah, check it out.
It's a good rabbit hole to go down.
It is. It's neat. I've been learning more about 17th century, Paris and royal life recently, just because we got this gun.
What will the weight of the Hawken be?
I don't know. I'm thinking 8.5 pounds, 9 pounds, somewhere in that range, depending on caliber.
7 out of 10 rifles at my local shoot are Kibblers.
Oh, thank you.
That's cool.
Yeah, and in case you didn't see the earlier live stream, thank you everybody that that has supported us and had kind things to say about us and bought guns from us, because that's what fuels our business and makes us able to do what we can do. So it's a win-win situation. So we really do appreciate that.
Have you looked into die-cast tech for high detail parts? Even if they're made of zinc, it might make the deep carved stuff more accessible.
Yeah, so, we would want to use the correct materials. And right now, when I've done this type of work, we've used investment casting, which gives you pretty good detail, especially in silver. You can get real good detail in silver. Die casting, I'm not as familiar with it, but it could probably be very good. Initial cost of molds is very, very high. For real high production. And I'm not sure about using precious metals, things like silver, perhaps brass, I'm not sure, but brass is definitely much higher temperature than zinc, so I don't know if it can even be die cast. I'm thinking not with the brass.
How about a Jaeger?
Yeah, we talked about that in the previous live stream, and I'm not quite sure there's enough of widespread interest. We have to be real careful about what we make, because there's huge investment in time and money to get set up to make these guns, so we have to be careful. And I'm not sure that the Jaeger would have as much interest.
What about the underrib?
For the Hawken?
I guess.
Yeah, so for the Hawken, there's an underrib, and it's a hollow underrib. So it does have supports where it's held on with screws, and then threaded holes in the bottom of the barrel. Ramrod pipes will be soldered to the underrib when you receive it, and then it'll be screwed on. Yeah, pretty light underrib,
And
be machined out.
The wood for the Hawken.
So it'd be traditional woods mostly, you see some stocked in maple, usually straight grain maple, but we'll do curly maple if people want it, and walnut, of course.
Another request for a cap lock version of the SMR.
Yeah, we had that this morning, so we're taking note.
Yeah, yeah. And that seems to be all the questions. And
Thank you guys for just joining us.
Best guess I've seen coming down. Your quality is off the hook, and everybody that I've talked with when I bought my Woods Runner from you, I've been greatest people.
Oh, I'm not sure about that, but thank you. Okay, have a good night.
Okay, thank you, everybody.